When you make a sale in your business, you probably think the tax you owe is just based on the price the customer pays. Simple, right? But what if I told you it's not always that straightforward? Today, we're diving into some really interesting rules that show the true taxable value of a sale can be something completely different.
Okay, let's jump right in with a quick scenario. Imagine your business has a work van, and you know it's worth about $10,000 on the open market. But hey, it's your brother-in-law, so you give him a fantastic deal and sell it to him for just $1,000 bucks. So you'd calculate the tax on that thousand, right?
Well, not so fast. The tax authorities might actually look at that and say, nope, that's a $10,000 sale for tax purposes. I know, it sounds confusing, right? But don't worry, we're about to unpack the exact rules that explain why this happens and, more importantly, how you can navigate it correctly. It all kicks off with this really important concept called related persons. And this is where tax law kind of gets personal because it's not just about what you're selling, it's about who you're selling it to. So what in the world is a related person? Well, the official definition covers any people or companies that are connected in some pretty specific ways. You can just think of it as the government's way of identifying relationships where a normal, everyday arm's-length deal might not be happening. And wow, when you look at the list, it's pretty wide-ranging, isn't it? It's not just your husband or wife. We're talking relatives up to the fourth degree. It also ropes in your employees, your business partners, and any company where you're a director or have a majority stake. Any of these connections basically flips a switch on some special tax rules. And this right here is the absolute heart of the matter. If you sell that van to a total stranger, the taxable value is whatever they pay you. End of story. But if you sell it to a related person for less than it's really worth, the tax authorities step in and use what's called fair market value. It's all about making sure taxes are paid fairly and stopping folks from avoiding tax by selling valuable assets for, a dollar to a buddy. So what is this fair market value they talk about? It's actually a really simple idea. It's just the price that two completely unrelated people, neither one under any pressure, would agree on for that item at that time. So in our van example, that's the $10,000. Okay, that covers selling things at a discount. But what if you don't sell it at all? What if you give a business asset away as a gift, or maybe start using it for yourself instead of for the business? Well, this brings us to another key idea, the nominal supply. You heard that right. Even giving something away for free is seen as a taxable event by the law. Now, why would they do that? Well, chances are you got a tax benefit, a deduction, when you first bought that asset for your business. So the government sees you giving it away as the end of its business life, and it's time to settle up the tax. So how do you figure out the value? The main rule is actually pretty simple. The taxable value is whatever you originally paid for it. If you give away a company laptop that cost you $1,500, that's your number. If for some reason you can't find the original cost, then you fall back to using its fair market value. But, and this is the crucial part, this whole rule only kicks in if you claimed a tax deduction when you first bought it. No initial deduction, no tax on the giveaway. Simple as that. All right, we all know that business isn't a straight line. Sales get canceled, customers bring things back, discounts are given later on. The good news is you're not stuck paying tax on the original deal. You're allowed to make adjustments. Now, the rules are very specific about when you can do this. As you can see, it's for common sense situations. The whole deal gets called off, a customer returns an item, or you change the price after the invoice was already sent. Basically, if the core of the transaction changes, you can adjust the tax. And here's how you do it. It's a clear three-step process. First, the event happens. The customer returns the goods. Second, and this is absolutely critical, you must issue a formal credit note. That's your paper trail. And third, you simply adjust the tax you owe on your next tax return. It's a clean process to make sure you only pay tax on the final actual value of the sale. And now for a topic that I know causes a massive headache for so many business owners. What happens when a customer just doesn't pay? You've already reported the sale, you've paid the tax on that income, what can you do? This just says it all, doesn't it? It feels so unfair to have paid tax on money that never even hit your bank account. It's a real punch to your cash flow. So, let's ask the big question. Can you actually get that tax back? The short answer is yes. The longer answer is yes, but you have to follow a very strict set of rules. No surprises there. Think of this checklist as your guide.
First, you absolutely must have already paid the tax on that sale. Second, you gotta be patient. At least 12 months have to have passed since the sale. Third, that related person rule pops up again. This relief doesn't apply if your brother-in-law doesn't pay you. Fourth, your accountant has to formally write the debt off. And finally, for bigger debts, you need to prove you've actually tried to get the money back. And that certain amount we just mentioned is 100,000 Saudi riyals. If the bad debt from one customer is more than this amount, you have to show proof that you've started formal recovery procedures, like filing a lawsuit, before you can claim that tax back.
Oh, and one last little twist. Let's say you do all this, you write off the debt, you get the tax adjustment. And then, surprise, the customer actually pays you a few months later. Well, you got to make things right and pay the tax on the money you received in your very next tax return. Phew, we have covered a lot of ground, from family discounts all the way to bad debt. So let's just take a moment and boil it all down to the absolute key takeaways you need to remember. Okay, let's lock these in. 1. Sales to related parties. Ignore the price tag. It's all about fair market value. 2. Giving away a business asset. Its taxable value is what it originally cost you, but only if you claimed a deduction on it. 3. For any changes after a sale, like returns or discounts, the credit note is your essential tool for adjusting the tax. And finally, 4. You absolutely can get tax relief on bad debt, but only if you meticulously follow those strict conditions. So when you pull it all together, the big lesson here is that the price on an invoice isn't always the final word when it comes to tax. And this leaves all of us with a really important question for our own businesses. Are we just recording prices, or are we actively managing the true taxable value of every single transaction? Getting that right can make a huge impact on your bottom line.